Your balls were so swollen and blue.
So swollen, so blue.
Jeez. Oh, man, I was feeling good about this podcast until now. I will think about this for the rest of the day.
Good. You should. Hey there, and welcome to The Musers, the podcast. It's three friends, three buddies just hanging out, having a good time. Been together a long time, these three guys. I'm Gordon.
I'm George.
I'm Craig.
And this is episode 55 of The Musers, the podcast. And, okay, we'll pause for applause.
Thank you.
Now, last podcast, we talked about concerts and the best concerts we went to, the worst ones, the most interesting ones. And we got so much response from this, which you, dear listener to podcast, can reach out to us at themuserspod@gmail.com. And we read your emails. And boy, did you send some great memories and some great emails in association with last episode. But one email really took the cake and was really incredible. And that becomes our unsponsored letter of the week.
I think it's great that this is still unsponsored.
Yeah, I think it's obviously some collusion by corporations.
Yeah.
Like they're all in on the gag
They
now at
want
this
it to
point
end.
to see how long they can prank us
Right.
by not sponsoring letter of the week. Okay. So we start off. Keep an eye on time here. I don't know. I didn't keep an eye on time.
I got you rolling.
You got me. Okay.
Gotcha, dog.
All right. So it starts off, Dear Musers. Whoa, strong beginning so far. I wanted to share a concert story. This comes to us, by the way, from Steven. I wanted to share a concert story after hearing your segment about seeing musical acts live. In the summer of 2015, my wife, Terry, planned something pretty incredible for us. The Rolling Stones are our favorite band, and we decided to follow them for part of their U.S. tour. We saw them in Dallas, Nashville, Kansas City, Indianapolis, Detroit, and finally Buffalo.
I think that's awesome.
Wow.
Go on tour with a band, basically.
Could you imagine seeing the same band that many times?
It's the Stones. It's not just a band. It's the Stones.
Now, I think it'd be cool to experience all those different cities, you know, kind of doing like a whirlwind tour of some major American cities. That's pretty cool, right? Going to, but then you're like, oh God, it's getting concert time. Now we got to go see those same songs again tonight. That part would be a beating.
Yeah, maybe.
Anyway, Stephen continues. He says, the final show in Buffalo turned into something neither of us could have imagined. A few days earlier in Detroit, we had met two women in their 40s and struck up a conversation with them. Well, we happened to run into them again in Buffalo, and we started talking. And for whatever reason, so I guess those two women were doing the same thing, going to see the Stones in multiple cities. We started talking, and for whatever reason, they asked us if we would like their front row tickets. Now, he doesn't explain here whether or not they just exchanged tickets so that the women still saw the Stones that night, but just took Stephen and Terry's original tickets.
Why would those women make that trade?
I don't know. Maybe they just had seen the Stones a lot more than Stephen and Terry, and they were talking about how much they love the Stones, and they never had decent seats. I don't know what happened in the conversation, but the women did this. Asked them if they'd like the front row tickets. They told us that they would normally sell them. So then why would they see them in the other city? I don't get that part.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there.
But they just gave them to him.
Wow.
So he said, Terry and I got incredibly excited about this. We talked it over and we said absolutely, and that we would pay whatever they wanted, and they said they wouldn't take a dime. So we were given front row tickets to see the Stones. So we're there seeing our favorite band from the front row at the final concert of our Stones adventure.
Wow.
It was unbelievable. We ended up on the big screen. We were right near the side of the stage where Ronnie Wood was playing, and I even caught one of Ronnie's guitar picks, and he included a pick of a pick, if that makes sense, right? And it's got the Rolling Stones logo on it, and it's scratched on the sides where clearly Ronnie Wood had, scraped it down the strings, as you'll do for a little bit of an audible effect on guitar. So, yeah, he says, I've seen a lot of concerts in my life, but nothing will ever top that one in Buffalo, front row with given tickets from the kindness
That would be pretty awesome.
Wow.
of strangers. Stephen says, what I didn't know at the time was that Terry knew she had cancer.
Oh, wow.
She kept it from me because she was trying to spare me and didn't want it hanging over our time together that summer. Looking back now, that summer and those concerts mean more to me than I could have possibly understood then. Terry passed away a few years later, and knowing now what she knew during that summer makes the whole experience even more meaningful to me. She gave us that adventure while she still could, without ever letting me know what she was facing.
Oh, my gosh. I'm going to cry.
I know.
Stephen says, I'll always be grateful to those two ladies who gave us those tickets. And most of all, I'm grateful that I got to experience the greatest concert night of my life, standing beside my wife.
Wow.
Thanks for letting me share that story. Your podcast brought back some very, very good memories. Best,
Man.
Stephen.
Wow. Thanks for sharing that,
What a
Stephen.
An
beautiful story.
amazing,
Yeah.
amazing email. And if that doesn't deserve a sponsorship, I don't know what does,
Yeah.
corporate America.
Yeah.
You know what? How about the Musers, the podcast, will sponsor the letter of the week until we get other sponsors.
Until
Brought
further
to us
notice,
by
yes.
Users the podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, and I personally was so moved by Stephen's story, I will personally sponsor this one.
Okay,
So
great.
this one's
Okay,
just
thank
on
you.
me.
Okay.
This one is completely me. No credit to the other two guys for sponsoring this. And
Well, thank you, Stephen, for sharing that.
I
That's
thought
a
the way that
really
you guys
cool
refused to
story.
sponsor that story was
Don't-
pretty classless.
don't
But
high
anyway,
horses on
we
it.
have to move on.
I think
Okay,
I'm the one
yeah.
that just came up with the idea of us sponsoring
Somehow
it.
it's been turned back on you.
That was an amazing story, yes. And God bless Terry's memory. That it was a very sweet thing, although it does bring up an interesting question. If you get the bad diagnosis, and let's say that you had this summer concert schedule already lined up, you're going to have this amazing time with your spouse. Do you share that diagnosis? Or do you say, look, let me just wait?
I think she handled it the right way. I think that's an awesome way to do it. Let's just experience this, and then afterwards, I'll let you know what's going on. I would have a hard time doing that just because I have such a bad poker face, and I think a lot of people would have a hard time doing that, but I think it's a really, a really interesting thing to do.
I don't think I could do it. I think if I got that diagnosis, I would immediately want in my circle all hands on deck helping me through this or figuring it out or talking about it.
You'd be that selfish.
I'd be that selfish. I don't think I could sit on it for a couple of months and do what she did.
Yeah.
But what she did was great.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I mean, look at the great memory that she gave him, to sit on it. That made that summer that much more special.
Yeah.
To know that she was doing that for him.
Yeah, and it made not only his summer uncomplicated, but you're right, in giving him the memory of knowing that she knew it and sacrificed that way.
Yeah.
Becomes an incredible life-changing gift.
Yeah.
I mean, heck, I guarantee you the three of us are always going to remember that story.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So here she is touching strangers even after her life was over with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Anyway, thank you, Stephen, for that email. And and sending the pic, too. Look at that, Giorgio. There's that horrible, stupid logo that the Rolling Stones have.
It did always make me kind of uncomfortable as a kid.
Or is it a great logo?
It's pretty identifiable.
Pretty iconic, yeah.
I don't understand how they got that logo.
I guess because I always thought it was supposed to be mixed mouth.
That's what I thought.
There's look at that, those lips. There's no way that's mixed mouth.
Is that when you know you've made it, when you have a pic with on one side it's your band logo, on the other side it's your name?
Yeah.
Personalized pic.
I know it. And for some reason, I mean, you can just buy them online.
Yeah.
Anybody can get this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've never done it. Have you ever done it, Giorgio?
No.
Got pics with your name on it.
A lot of my friends in
band
Texas
logo.
music have them, and people freak out when Pat Green takes a pic and throws it out, and Randy Rogers and all those guys.
We got to get that done for you, Giorgio. You're in the Bird Dogs. You play gigs.
Yeah.
People would love to have a George Dunham pick.
Would they?
Yes.
I don't know. That guy can barely play guitar. I don't want his pick.
They may think the pick's the problem and
Yeah.
really avoid it.
I don't want that. Yeah.
Okay. Before we get to our subject of this week's podcast, I wanted to tell you guys a sports story.
Okay.
It's about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar,
One of my all-time favorites.
formerly Lou Alcindor, which I kind of thought that was a cool name.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Lou Alcindor.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, well, there was a jersey that he wore during his college days that has resurfaced in a very odd way.
UCLA.
Was he
UCLA.
33 at UCLA also?
Believe he was.
So the story goes back to 1968, obviously, is when he wins the NCAA championship game. He was part of that team, and he was wearing this particular jersey. Well, this story starts in a parking lot outside the Forum in Inglewood, California, after he had ditched the name and ditched UCLA. He totally ditched UCLA and went to play for the Lakers.
Yeah, that's not really ditching your school.
So there's this guy, and we'll only call him David. He didn't release his last name.
He went on to play for the Bucks first, then
Bucks,
the Lakers.
and then the Lakers. Okay. So David is a big Lakers fan in the late 70s. And he used to go to the Forum parking lot before the game and hang out with friends and fans and things like that. And their shared love of the Lakers. Well, he gets to talking to a dude who had brought a jersey hoping to get it signed by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And the jersey was an old UCLA jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And so David is talking to the guy and it's like, man, I'd love to have one of those. I don't have a jersey. And he just thinks it's like, a jersey, like a replica jersey or something that you get from the pro shop, the UCLA pro shop. So he asked the dude if he could trade for it, if he could buy it or get it. David doesn't have any money because he's like a young college kid at this point. And the guy says, yeah, that transistor radio that you have. Now, so back in the day, we used to have these things. Transistor radios, a little handheld radio that you could listen to the game on, And David loved his transistor radio, and so he was hedging on whether or not he wanted to trade for this Lou Alcindor jersey. But he does. So he trades his transistor radio that he had out there in the parking lot to this guy who has a UCLA Lou Alcindor jersey.
And I'm guessing this is a game-worn UCLA jersey that he actually... Why would that guy trade that for a transistor radio?
Well, David, I don't think, knew that it was game-worn at the time.
Okay.
And he also doesn't think that the guy knew it. Somehow that the guy didn't know that it was actually game-worn.
Okay.
And he certainly didn't know that it was actually worn in the championship game in 1968. Well, so David...
how did he get it? How did the guy get it?
Don't know. But David has it all these years, and he says he moves from time to time, and he's like, I don't have this thing displayed. I don't have it in a nice case. I don't have room for it. So I'm going to eventually sell it. So now David gets around to selling it this year. And so he takes it to an auction house. They start looking at it, and they start photo matching it, which is what the auction houses do. And looking back at old pictures, and they find that, oh my gosh, this is not only game worn, but it also was worn in the championship. He wore it that whole year and the year before that he won the championship in 1968 and everything. So David ends up auctioning it off, and it sells for $1.25 million. So his transistor radio was traded for over $1 million jersey.
Wow.
That's a lot of money. I was going to guess more, that it'd be worth like $4 or $5 million or something, but still, that's a lot of money.
Is it because it doesn't say Kareem Abdul-Jabbar on the back of it? It's like that's not the preferred name anymore.
Yeah, but that's got to be the oldest
jersey.
No, I don't think that would have anything to do with it.
Well, it's one of the most important
That's
pieces
a cool item
of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Remember, no idea how he got it, and I wonder if Kareem passed away, didn't he, recently?
No, he's still with
still
us.
going. He's slowing down.
He's
but
doing
still
well.
going.
Update, Kareem's doing well.
Yeah, doing well.
Jeff.
Yeah. I wonder, so did David through the years like wear it on his couch as he's watching basketball, or did he just hang it in a closet? And
Yeah, I don't
take
think
good
that
care
he
of it?
knew that it was a thing. I don't think he knew that it
Man.
was game worn.
So he ate wings. wearing
yes,
it
it probably had wing sauce on it and stuff like that. One of the ways they photo matched it was to a thread that was hanging off of one of the letters.
Wow.
Yeah, like on
Man.
UCLA, I think on the A there was a thread hanging off that still is hanging off today, and it was in the pictures of the championship game
That's
in 1968.
That's great.
In 3 seasons, Lou Alcindor was 88-2 at
That's pretty
UCLA with 3 national
Is
championships.
that is good?
That's pretty
I don't know
good.
sports.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's pretty
You're gonna
good.
have to
Yeah.
tell me.
Dang.
Huh. We've done that talk before of, is there any piece of sports memorabilia that you would really like to have? Or are you so unsentimental about that kind of stuff that it wouldn't mean much to you to have it?
No, there's a lot I'd like to have.
I'm not a big sports memorabilia guy. I mean, I think it's cool, it's interesting, but as far as, I really want that.
Okay, I think we need to test George's claim here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you had, like, what has Jordan Spieth won?
He's won every major but one. He's won.
His Masters jacket, would you like to have that?
No, it belongs to Jordan. I wouldn't want that.
No, it needs to go to one. It's going to go in the trash or you. Which do you choose? Do you say, it doesn't matter to me, coin flip it?
You know, the only thing I would really want is, and I have a large picture of him that somebody gave me. I would want him to autograph that to my best friend, George.
To my best friend.
Best friends forever, Jordan.
Jordan Spieth.
Yeah.
Okay, but there's got to be, who is your favorite athlete of all time? Is it really Danny White or is that shtick? Jordan's more important to you than Danny White, right?
Well, as a child, it was Roger.
Okay.
It was Roger Staubach. And I do have an autographed picture from Roger. And yeah, if a jersey was to make it to my...
You'd be okay with that?
I'd be okay with that. But it's not like, hey, man, I've got to get an old Roger Staubach jersey. Sports memorabilia doesn't really do it for me. It really doesn't.
I'm not like I need to get that. I don't go out and try to find these items, but if I could have an extra room built on to the side of my house and it was just going to be sports memorabilia and I could pick the 20 things to go in there, man, I would love that.
That's a great exercise. What 20 things would you pick, Giorgio? I guarantee you could come up with that list.
Yeah.
Maybe not off the top of your head, but there's got to be a short list of things that would be really cool for you to own.
I'd have game-worn jerseys, the biggest game possible for all of my favorite athletes of all time. I'm a big bike racing fan, and Le Mans was always my idol, so I'd want his bike from the famous 89 final time trial or the skin suit he wore or a world championship jersey or something like that. Oh, I could easily fill a room, and I'd love it. I'd go in that room every day. I love that stuff.
That would be so cool. See, I love that kind of stuff too. I've always been obsessed with historical objects, like physical things or even places where historical things happen.
Yep.
So I don't know, for some reason I love the physically tangible things of a ephemeral and fleeting moment that has become part of history.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I went to Paris for the first time, I walked on the Champs-Élysées, the most famous avenue in the world, and all I could think about was that 1989 final Tour de France time trial.
Yeah, thinking it happened right here.
Yeah, all the famous things that have happened on that avenue, but I looked at that exact spot where he turned the corner and came down the hill. Yeah, when we go to Heritage Auctions, the big auction house in Dallas for our radio show, I'm a kid in a candy store there. I love looking at all those old jerseys and bats and gloves and basketballs.
You get such a charge out of it. When we had the gloves that Muhammad Ali was wearing in the famous picture when he's standing. Who was he standing over?
Sonny Liston, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's a
you're
really
thinking
cool
these
picture.
are the actual gloves from that
Yeah.
iconic sports photo.
Yeah.
I have kind of a hang up on it, maybe for this reason. And it's a little different with the championship rings. That always makes us uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So-and-so's championship ring is up for bid.
Sad.
But I almost
Yeah.
kind of feel that way with like their shoes too. Like, I know Emmitt Smith couldn't own all of the cleats that he wore and scored touchdowns with, but you know what I'm getting at? That it's just like, well, that belongs to them, you know?
Even
not
if they
me.
throw
Even
it out on
even
bulk
if they
trash
put
day,
Now, bulk trash,
you would
yes.
keep returning it to
If
them.
I went by Mean Joe Green's house,
and it's
and
like,
he
I've
had
thrown
one
these
of his,
shoes away 40 times, and this guy keeps bringing them back to me.
yes, then I would. If he threw it out on bulk trash, I'd feel fine about it.
What about if Kareem recently put up for auction some of his championship rings and jerseys and things like that, and he donated all of the profits to charity? Would you be okay with that, owning that ring?
Yeah, maybe.
Or do you is it still too
that
personal?
Makes me feel a little bit, but yeah, I just feel like that should be with them and then their kids and their grandkids and all that.
You would chunk it in their casket at the wake.
right before they closed it.
They deserve to have it
Throw
back.
it in there. Here, you take it.
You're stuffing a championship ring back on Kareem's finger in his casket. What is he doing up there? What are you doing? Is he doing something that's vulgar?
That does also make you guys sad too, doesn't it? When the guy has to do it for money.
Yes,
and all of a sudden
it
the
does.
Super Bowl rings up for bid.
Particularly when it's somebody who just won the Super Bowl like 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And they were like not a star player on that team, but
Yeah.
it's already up for sale.
I'm with you when it comes to Super Bowl rings. For whatever reason, that's my carve out. I wouldn't want any kind of championship ring that has the guy's name on it.
Yeah.
That's weird to me. That seems too personal.
You get your own name put on it.
Scratch it out.
Yes, yeah.
Write it on with marker over some tape.
Okay, so let's get to our
right, let's
topic
go.
today. This is very serious. I got a text from my brother several days ago. Boo, my older brother. And he said, I reread your oyster shell column today. It always rings so true. Before I continue with this text, this was a column that I wrote for the Morning News 10 years ago, 12 years ago. I can't even remember how long ago this was now.
That seems right.
And it's probably my favorite thing that I've ever written because it was when my mother was suffering with cancer, and it's even hard to describe what the column is about now that I think about it, because it was about a story of when I moved when I was 6 years old, moved to this new town, and my mom telling me it was going to be great. I was going to make new friends and everything, and I was so lonely when I first moved to this new town, and so I would spend recess alone, and I found this oyster shell.
The first week at a new school is so tough.
It's so tough.
Yeah.
And I found this shell, and I brought it back to her, and I gave it to her. So during this first week, and anyway, so this story in 800 words somehow covers these two time periods of when I was 6 years old, and then the present day at the time of the writing, was when my mom was sick with cancer, and I was talking to her, and she was getting rid of a lot of stuff in her house, and clearing out the house because she knew that even if her days were not numbered due to cancer, her days were numbered, as they are for all of us, and certainly for people who are older. So, and I asked her, what in the house meant the most to her, and she goes back and she gets this oyster shell. And says this, which is...
It's pretty wild she still has it.
Yeah, and it's just crazy that this gift that was given to her when I was 6 is the thing that she brings back from the back of the house and says, this is the thing that's the most valuable to me.
It was a beautiful, beautiful column.
Yeah, it was
really well done.
It was a very meaningful column, and she got to read it before she passed. And
That's
all
great.
her friends, she got to hear from all her friends saying, oh, the thing in the Dallas Morning News was so good today about you and, your son and everything. So that's the thing that makes that column so meaningful to me, but because it was so meaningful to her.
Your mom got to read you in the Dallas Morning News.
Dallas Morning News.
How about that?
And it wasn't a news story about your arrest.
Right, yeah. That's what I figured she would be reading about. But anyway, my brother said, I reread your oyster shell column today, and it always rings so true. I still struggle with being moved around so much as a kid, and the loneliness you convey always touches a raw nerve. Damn good writing, brother.
Huh.
So that
Interesting.
text meant a lot to me because it's my brother, an older brother particularly,
Sure.
commenting on something good that you've done is
Oh,
always welcomed
Absolutely.
and beautiful. And my older brother has always been very kind to me, and he never was the typical older brother, bully you and make fun of you and all that
Yeah,
sort of thing.
my brothers weren't like that either.
So that got me thinking about moving and hearing him just in that one sentence talk about how tough it was for him as well, because he always seemed impervious to everything. He always seemed to excel no matter what environment you put him in, like the moves always, I just assumed they affected me a lot, but everyone was a lot stronger than I was.
You thought he gained strength with every move.
Yes, right. Because he
Became
always
more
seemed to
powerful.
gain strength, so must always work for him. And so it got me to think about the subject of moving, and the three of us have interesting perspectives on it because we've all been affected different ways by moving. I had two really traumatic, and that's the word I would describe for them, moves in my life. Once when I was 6 years old, that column is about, and then again right before 7th grade, and which was to the location or the town that I live in now. And how complicated it is for me to evaluate that move when it was such pain and suffering and trauma that I think was formed by today. I mean, a lot of things about my personality are things that were trying to adjust to that trauma that happened before 7th grade of moving to this new town. But yet I never would have met you guys. I never would have had this career, and I never would be leading this podcast episode so very well.
Right.
So how do you evaluate something like that happened, that formed you and brought you so many gifts, but at the same time you wish that it didn't happen?
That's so funny that it's not funny, but it's
Thanks, George.
It's interesting.
Funny that you had all that trauma.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Just hilarious to me.
George always laughs at my trauma. No, Craig always laughs at my trauma when it involves animals.
Yes,
Yeah.
When
I
it
do.
involves me
Yes.
finding an injured bird
Guilty.
No.
and having to put it out of its misery.
That'll be
No.
episode 56. We're
I
going to
feel-
relive all those.
I feel bad that you went through all of that when you moved, but it's just so different. I moved 4 times as a kid. That's pretty nomadic, isn't it? From age 0 to 15?
Not really.
We moved
And
8 times.
We'll get into
Really?
the
Yeah.
stats of it later
Okay.
on, but let's stick with the personal experience for a while and that's the first thing I thought of was because we've worked together for so long and I've known you guys for so long. Like, I know that Craig had a very traumatic move that
Yeah.
he'll probably talk about here in just a few moments. And George, you've had a very different experience because you moved those times, and I've never heard you talk about it in such traumatic terms as Craig and I talk about the moves we endured. And I know that you've moved your kids, and that was one conversation that you and I had one time when you were moving. And I said, man, I don't know, Giorgio, make sure you think about those kids because
I know.
you're going to really traumatize them by moving. And I've told you my whole story and everything. And from everything I've heard, your kids loved it, and it was great, and it was nothing. So
They did.
It makes no sense to me
Yeah.
as to how something affects someone. Your family has had good experiences with moving.
We did. And as a kid, that was my first memory. I think I've told you guys is our first move when I was 3 and my siblings, were in high school. And I told you my sister had to move going into her senior year. And I know that was not easy on her.
Get ready for Craig's story.
And no, I know. And my other siblings, I don't think wanted to leave Texas and leave San Antonio, but my dad took a transfer to the north. We moved from San Antonio to Minneapolis. So you've grown up in San Antonio, Texas, and now you go to Minneapolis. But I remember it because it was the first adventure. I've looked at it as this big adventure. Okay, we're going to this new place. And then a few years later, we moved to Chicago. I was so excited to see the moving van come in, and I just thought as a kid that was so exciting. And then the next move was back to Texas, and I was really excited about moving back to where we had family. My grandparents and my brothers and sisters were going to college down here, so that was really exciting. And then as it relates back to sports, we moved from Central Texas to Dallas. And the one thing that sold me, I didn't want to leave Central Texas, but I thought, dang, we're going to live in Farmers Branch. It's like 10 minutes from Texas Stadium. This is amazing. This is going to be great. Read about the Cowboys
Me
every
and the
day.
Cowboys are going to be best friends.
But I do have that shared experience I was going into my sophomore year in high school, and that first week was brutal. I didn't know anybody, but I do think it's important that you get involved in something, whether it's music or drama. In my case, sports. I was on the golf team, and I started meeting people, and it was fine after about a week. But yeah, I ate by myself that first week, and just kind of like, yeah, I'm fine here, and
It's cool. I prefer
cool.
it. I prefer it.
Yeah, you don't want to sit here. Oh, that's fine. Yeah, I'll sit here and act like I'm busy. Yeah, that was awful, but yeah, it's just part of life, though. You move and you adjust.
And Craig, you did it the one time was that the only one that was traumatic, would you say?
Yeah, so we moved 8 times from the time I was born to time I graduated high school. The first few I don't really remember. When I was 6 months old, we moved Amarillo to Dallas. Then when I was maybe a year, we moved from Dallas to New Orleans, and that's where my sister was born. Then we moved from New Orleans to Oklahoma City when I was 4-ish. And then we moved to Enid, Oklahoma when I was 6-ish, and we moved to 2 different houses there. And then we came back to Oklahoma City.
Same school, though?
Same school,
You can move houses, but...
Yeah, and same thing when we came back to Oklahoma City when I was 7 or 8. 2 different houses there, but same schools. But the traumatic one was halfway through my junior year in high school in Oklahoma City. My dad said, I got a job in Dallas. We're moving in November. And I had gone to school with the same kids pretty much from first grade, except for that 1 year in Enid, first grade through 11th grade, or into 11th grade. So I had a lot of good friends, longtime friends. We'd basically been raised in Oklahoma City. I loved it there. I loved our neighborhood. I had a lot of neighborhood friends that I hadn't gone to school with necessarily, but made friends in the neighborhood. And just really enjoyed my childhood there. And I didn't want to leave. I was very close to graduating from a school that I liked a lot and with friends that I liked a lot. And here I was being uprooted. And so we moved, and I was extremely bitter at my family. And my sister was all for the move. She had just started high school, and she didn't seem as opposed to it as me. So I tried to always be a good big brother, but I was mad at her
for not
siding
with you against the parents.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for the next 6 months, I think I was pretty mean to her, in a way a big brother will be. I didn't abuse her or anything, but I just wasn't happy with her, not being happy with, not being as pissed off about the move as me. And so for 6 months, I refused to eat with my family. I would come out every night. My mom would put dinner on the table, and I would take my plate and take it back to my room. I didn't speak to them. They enrolled us at this. We went to a Catholic high school. My parents were very Catholic, and we went to a Catholic high school in Oklahoma City, and they enrolled us in a Catholic high school in Dallas. And I went, and I hated it. The first week, just like George was describing, I didn't have anybody to eat with. I just felt like I was in this different country almost, it was just so different from my school in Oklahoma. Didn't know a soul there other than my sister, who was 2 grades behind me.
Who you weren't speaking to.
Who I wasn't speaking to, so we couldn't share anything there. And about a week in, this table of 3 guys invited me to join their table for lunch. And so I did. I was happy that somebody recognized that I was a human and existed in the school.
Sure.
And one of them was my buddy Quinson, who we're still friends. He's probably my oldest friend, that I keep in touch with going back to high school. And the other 2 were named Bob and Dave. Well, Bob was kind of a bully. We all grew to like Bob. But I remember like that second week that I was sitting at their table, when I came over, I put my tray down, and as I went to sit down, he pulled my chair out from underneath me, and I fell on the floor, and the entire cafeteria laughed.
And see, it was probably like 15 people laughing, but it felt like the entire school probably was on top of you.
And I got up, and I went to my locker, got my things, got in my car, and drove home. And I remember I walked in on my mom and my Aunt Mary, who were having a secret smoke. They only smoked when the kids were at school, but I busted them smoking.
Oh, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. Waving the smoke everywhere.
We're just trying it. This is the first one we've ever done.
And I remember walked in and I said to them, I'm never going back to that school again. And I didn't know what to do with myself. Because I knew I had to finish school, but I didn't want to go back there the next day after that humiliation. And I was mad, still really mad at my parents and mad at my sister and mad at everybody. I was mad at the world. And somehow, maybe I may have skipped that next day. I can't remember, but I ended up going back. Bob apologized to me, and I thought, well, at least I've got a friend. They're abusive to me, but at least I've got a friend group here. So
at least I have a lot of close abusers that I've made now.
Yeah.
So I went back and I sat with him, and Dave and Quinson and I were big NBA fans, so we bonded there, and it got okay. And then my senior year was great. I made friends and had a blast my senior year. So I'm happy I stayed in there. But the 6 months from November to May, that transition was so traumatic. I mean, it still brings back terrible memories for me.
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
So the hangover effect of that time, did you have it at all, Giorgio, from that time when you moved and had to eat alone for a week?
And well, I was starting to make friends at school. I'd see them at school and we would talk and we'd play golf together. But on the weekends, they had their thing.
They would all get together, and
I was just pretty much at home, watching Love Boat and whatever else my parents were watching. And my grandmother was living with us at the time, and it was so bad that she said, he has got to get out. This is so old time, but she said, why don't we invite the girl next door and we'll pop some corn? I was like, no.
Pop some corn.
No, we're not doing, what do you mean pop corn? No, we're not doing that.
You think that would have been an awkward conversation you'd have with that girl?
Oh my gosh, yeah. But I same amount of time,
Pop
probably
some
6 months or so, where I didn't do anything on Friday or Saturday night, and I looked forward to us going back to Central Texas, where my parents kept their condo, and we would go back there, and I looked forward to that. And then we got a dog too, and my dog was my best friend and then I made friends, and it was fine. But I would say the thing that's carried over to this point, I still have some really good friends from that high school. But I felt like because I was there so late, just for really 2 years, because my sophomore year I didn't go to dances or anything, that I don't have a lot of close friends from high school. The ones I have are really good. We'll get a bingo here mentioning my friend Todd. His daughter keeps track of how many times he is mentioned on the podcast. But he's a dear friend, and there's a few others. But, and I think that affected that because I didn't go to school with them for 5 or 6 years. It was just a couple of years.
I had a similar experience in that when we moved halfway through my junior year, that was 1 month before I got my driver's license. Turned 16 that December. So I had gone to school in Oklahoma City, falling in love with all these different girls that I wanted to ask out, but I was waiting until I got my driver's license.
No.
I didn't want my parents to take us on a date. Well, now I'm put in a brand new school. I don't know any of these girls.
Yeah.
So it set me back socially probably a year or two.
Yeah. And your balls were so swollen and blue.
So swollen, so blue.
Jeez.
And so it took me, halfway through my senior year before I'm getting the guts up to ask out these girls, where most guys are doing it in their sophomore year or their freshman year. The kids who were held back, they're driving in their freshman year. But I do remember that I felt like it set me back socially. Even going into college, I felt like I wasn't as experienced as a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
So when it came time for you to make that call, Giorgio, in your adult life, when you have children of your own, how much of a factor was that in your decision making, and what was the process of thinking?
One of my kiddos, my oldest, Brent, was out of high school. So he was in college when we made this move. And my middle child was.
But did he have opinions on it? Because I've known some college kids who their parents are like, okay, well, they've gone to college now. We want to downsize and we get rid of the old childhood home. And then then the college kid has an opinion about, hey, wait,
I want to come home.
I want to be able to come home to my actual home.
I think it was a little awkward for him when he would come home from college, but he really wasn't coming home. You know, he didn't. He wasn't just down the street from his friends. That was probably a little awkward for him. And my middle son was going into his sophomore year just like I was.
Oh, see? That
so I had some flashback
as,
man, I don't know if this is such a good idea, but it's not too far. We just moved 20 or 30 miles, so he could still go back and see some of his friends. And initially when we made the move, he was not happy with it. And I think one day told us, this wasn't my idea to move out here. I was like, oh, gosh. But
how did you present it to them when you...
I just told him kind of the same thing of like Craig's dad did. Hey, we're not being transferred out of the state, but we've thought about this. We've looked in this area for a long time, and we want you to be at a school that's not quite so big, and we want wide open spaces. We feel like we're kind of closed in here. And what do you think of this? And our youngest was excited about it, and even our middle.
He's how old at that point?
He is 7.
Okay.
But I remember looking at him, and there's another one of those stories where this is about the time I started listening to Texas country, and he did too. And I tell the guys this that I now know in Randy Rogers and Brady Black, that they have a song called "In My Arms Instead." And when my wife would drop her youngest off, there's a fiddle solo at the end, and he would say, before I go in, I just want to hear the end of this. And I know that was his way of saying, this will help me get through the day.
Yeah.
And
I don't really want to go in.
I don't really want to go in. Just let me have this
you,
comfort. Mom. I just want to stay with you. But then he, made really good friends, and I think they're going to be lifelong friends. And he later told us he was so glad we made that move. But yeah, that was kind of that same age, 6 or 7. And that's a hard thing when nobody knows you at lunchtime, and even in your first class, it's tough.
Yeah. Gordo, you brought this up earlier, that the moves that were traumatic in your life ended up being a good thing. And I feel that way about that traumatic high school move, because if we had stayed in Oklahoma, I would have gone to college up there. I ended up going to North Texas, where I met George and where I studied under Bill Mercer, and ended up getting a job in Dallas, Fort Worth, and then ended up with this job and now on this podcast. And so it all led to a great place, and I wouldn't change any of that for anything. And if I'd stayed in Oklahoma, I would have gone to college in that state, because I couldn't ask my parents. I was not a good enough student to ask them for out-of-state tuition. So I would have gone somewhere up there and had a completely different life. Probably would have still studied sports broadcasting, but I doubt I ever would have ended up in Dallas, Fort Worth, would never have met the two of you. So that trauma led to someplace great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think I would have been, had we not made just that last move from a resort area outside of a little town, back then it was a little town called Llano. A lot of the guys that I kept up with, I'd say less than half of them went to college. They just went out in the work world, and I could have seen me doing something like that. I would have kept playing football. Maybe I would have won state.
Yeah, you probably would have.
Yeah, had a hot tub by now.
Yeah, that's what you get when you win state.
Our buddy Don, who we mention a lot on the podcast too, we went to college with, his mom passed away recently, and I was reading her obituary, and she was the daughter of a father who was in the oil business, so they moved a ton.
Oh, my.
She moved 25 times between first grade and senior year in high school.
Mm.
I think that's what it was, or kindergarten and high school. 25 different moves, yet she was her class's valedictorian.
Dang,
so isn't that impressive?
I know.
That's
And
really
then you'll
impressive.
read, yet serial killers, you see that? Yeah, he lived in 25 different places and during his childhood and never felt roots. And It's like, how do these two people respond so differently
Right.
to?
Yeah.
So moving kids a lot can be traumatic, but they can also deal with it and find their way through it and end up being great successes.
Yeah. I don't think it taught me resilience, the two traumatic moves. I look back at all that and I just think, you know what, despite that trauma, I ended up having a decent career and meeting great people and, you know, making great friends. But I bet you we probably would have been okay where we were too. We probably would have found, maybe it's the old thing that they say, like you find the same amount of happiness no matter where you are in
Maybe.
your circumstances, provided that your necessities are taken care of, right?
Yeah.
You're not starving or something like that.
I had a boss tell me that once because this is back at our old job. It looked like everyone was going to get fired. And I said, well, I don't want to live anywhere else. You know, I don't want to live. We have a really nice community that we're in that we like and good schools. And he said, there's other cities with good schools. It'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember thinking at the time, golly, he's crazy. His kids go to the same schools. What's he even talking about? But I think that's a somewhat healthy way to look at it. There's other places out there that you could flourish as well.
That's another great one. And maybe AI can present these movies for us down the road, but how your life would have turned out had you
stayed where you
fill
were.
in the blank. Yeah.
Yeah. The interesting thing, though, is that Americans, now that we have more choice than ever before, it seems like in some way, people actually move less than they've ever moved before.
Really?
As a matter of fact, in the studies that I was reading, we're at the lowest rate of mobility and moving than we are since the government started keeping track, I think, in the 40s.
That surprises me. I would have thought the pandemic would have jacked those numbers up.
No. People stay put for the most part. And I forget what the stat is about people that live within 15 miles of where they actually grew up and everything, but it's pretty darn high.
I saw it presented as where you graduated from high school, and it's like within 30 miles, and it's, I want to say 70%, something crazy like that.
This says in the 1950s, 1/5 of people, so that's 20% of people, moved each year.
Wow.
That's insane. And only right over 9% of people moved in the year that ended, let's see, I think this is 2024. Only 9% of people even moved that year. So, yeah, it was the first time that it dropped below 10%.
So the three of us would fall into that category of being no more than 30 miles from where they graduated high school.
Yeah.
Right.
And the three of us also have each been in the same home for a long time now. I'm over 20 years.
Same, right at 20 years, and that's the longest we've ever been in a house.
Yeah, same here. And the thought of moving is very overwhelming to me.
Boy, as much as I loved it as a kid and thought it was a big adventure, I really don't want to move again.
Mm-hmm.
Ever.
You're going to die in that house?
Maybe.
No, I'm telling you. I have some plans.
Okay, all right. Okay, well, tell me about it later. Yeah, okay.
And then this, at what age is a person expected to move just one more time before they die? In 1968, that age was 66 years of age.
That would have been my guess, somewhere
That
in
they
your
were,
60s.
they only have one more move in them after the age of 66. Now, as of 2022, which was on this, it was already down to 55.
Wow.
So people are getting into that final place much, much earlier
Interesting.
than before. People are not moving like they used to.
So that means a lot of people are retiring in their house and just staying there, because I would think that last move would be your retirement move.
See, I would too. I also think that somehow if you move within 5 miles of where you are now or 10 miles, that doesn't count as the kind of move I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like if you move, like when I lived down by where you were, Junior, I think I lived in 3 different houses within a block of each other.
Yeah.
Which sounds weird moves now when I think about it.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you moving when you're just moving 4 houses down?
In your case, you kept getting evicted, but still.
Yes, it was. They were jerky landlords, and I think I was right in every single one of those arguments.
And I would say that can be maybe the worst move you'll have is the 8 or 9 block move, because you think, Well, I'll just come back and get that.
Yeah.
because it's a short enough distance that you're going to be doing it in a Civic
Yes.
rather than a U-Haul.
You
Yes.
will take 50 trips instead of 2 to move everything out of your house.
All right. Thank you guys for talking moving. It's always fun. I can either end this now or give you a hypothetical to chew on.
I like hypotheticals,
Sure,
but George
hit us.
doesn't.
Yeah, why don't you like them, George?
I play along. I think some of them are really good. As long as you answer along with us, I think it'll be fine.
Okay. So here's the hypothetical I've come up with. Would you rather your buddy wake up in your body for one day and live in your body for one day?
Your buddy.
Your buddy. So it could be like Junior wakes up in
You're
your
gonna wake
body,
up in my
George.
body.
Yes. But it has Junior's consciousness, right? But he just
Okay.
has your body and your life for one day. Or you can choose for him to wake up in your significant other's body, his consciousness in her body for one day. You have to choose between those two things. Which one do you choose?
So the difference is I would get to see George from his significant other's point of view for a day.
You would be really
To see
gay
what
for
he's-
me for one day.
To see what he's really like.
Yes.
Or that could be really boring for me.
It could be boring. It could be
Eye-opening.
really creepy when
Yeah.
George starts getting frisky and you're like, oh, I really don't want to see this side of George.
It's like, man, what's up with her today?
Yeah. And that's the thing is like if he woke up in your body, well, of course, you only find out about it the next day, what all the stuff he did. He may have pranked you. He may have bought an extra property. He may have changed out
Right.
your truck, sold your truck.
Yeah.
He could have done a lot of damage in that time.
Well, it's
But-
a good one because either one's terrible. I wouldn't wish that this body on anyone,
Oh,
let alone a good friend of mine.
Oh, George.
I just wake up and go, God, everything
George.
hurts. This sucks.
But then if he
then I don't want him being my significant other either. As I come home from work and say, "Hey, what do you think?"
And he doesn't know that
he doesn't know.
I'm in his
Yes.
significant other's body.
Yes.
Yeah. So how awkward would that be for me if he comes home and starts railing on me at work how much he hates working with Craig?
Oh, yeah,
Right.
but-
Yes.
And I'm trying
That's
to-
possible.
And I'm saying, he
You know,
really
Craig
sounds like a
seems
pretty
to be
cool
a
guy.
really cool guy. I don't know where you're coming from, and you're like, honey, you were
Either-
just bagging on him yesterday. What do you? All of a sudden, you're defending Craig today?
Man,
So you risk that being very eye-opening for your buddy if you take that one.
jeez.
Oh my goodness.
I think I would take that one as
The
opposed
spouse.
to
You'd want him to be-
I think I'd take him just dealing with whatever I'm working with.
Being in your body.
Yeah.
That's what I would
But
take.
also knowing that he could make love to your spouse.
Well, yeah,
and so
right.
he would know that whole experience.
Yeah.
See, I would take that one because if it's a buddy, like if it's George, I'm going to trust that he's understanding this experience and that he's not going to take advantage of my wife.
Right.
or
No.
something
I would
like
just-
that.
Yeah. I would just.
And all of a sudden she's like, boy, Craig, you're so standoffish today. I don't understand.
No, I'm just gonna
I
stand
keep
in
trying
this
to
corner.
initiate
Right.
with
I'm
you.
just going to stand in this
And,
corner right
and
here.
the therapist has told us that I should be trying to initiate with you. So, and now all of a sudden you're turning me away.
Something really weird is going on with you
You're-
today, and I
you're
can't
not-
put my finger on it.
Time to ride the bike. How far'd you go? 3 blocks, but
Well, you'd have his body.
oh, that's
You
right.
would
I have his
still
ability.
Get farther
I
than
just
three,
read 180
blocks.
miles.
So you choose Craig having your body.
Yeah, I think
Rather
so.
than having your wife's
Yeah,
body.
I don't want to creep him out that bad.
I would choose the same thing.
What about you?
Yeah, I guess that's the way you got to go, right?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I was feeling good about this podcast until now. This is why I don't like hypothetical. I will think about this for the rest of the day. now.
Good. You should. That's what they're designed to do. They're
Jeez.
mental exercises that keep your brain elastic and young.
Yes.
Indeed.
Yeah.
When you think
This
about
is
something
dementia
new,
fighters.
that helps
Mhm.
write new pathways in your brain, and that stimulates it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're welcome, George.
Oh, thank you.
Yes,
Thank you
there
so
go.
much.
All right. Hey, thanks to Ty, who's sitting in for Peter, who,
Ty.
by the way, Peter had his knees, he got like
He had him
bird
reversed.
knees put in.
It was an ankle
He had
procedure,
flamingo
but-
knees put in.
Yes. He had that too.
So we wish him well as he is convalescing. at home. So thank you to Ty for sitting in for that, and thank you to
Ty.
the P1s for listening to this. And a reminder, our entire back catalog is available for you, and we've touched on so many great subjects. Oh my goodness. You think this was a great hypothetical? Listen to another episode. You'll hear another great episode of hypothetical somewhere in here. So our entire back catalog is available for you. So thank you, and thank you for listening to The Musers, the podcast.